partner since 2009 and are currently in their top tier of partnership level. I've also been invited to Datto's CTO board advisory group and also asked to speak at a few of their events, including their big conference called DattoCon. But enough about me, let's talk about the backup. What people normally think backups are for is disasters, fires, floods, tornadoes. But what's wrong with this guy? Why is he upset? Did he click on something he wasn't supposed to? People are your greatest risks. This is Hank, the IT guy. Hank looks disappointed. Why? He found the password for this user on a sticky note on their computer. To talk about the internet, which is more of where we're getting these viruses and everything that's coming from, I want to go over kind of how the internet is actually laid out. So really what we see and deal with on a daily basis is only the tip of the iceberg. And what is all out there in the internet is what you can see in this graph here. The things we deal with mostly are the Google, the CNN news pages, but in the deep web, there's more documents, legal documents, subscription-only information, and you can see the dark web on the bottom. And this is where a lot of the bad stuff happens. Hackers get information and they put it out on the dark web where other hackers can get it and then attempt to compromise your business. So I'll talk a little bit about the evolution of the cyber threats that have been out there and give you some examples of things that are affecting our users in today's society. So here's a cartoon of me sitting at my desk researching numbers. And if you look at the numbers, they're staggering how cybercrime is only increasing. 43% of all cyber attacks are aimed at small and medium businesses. 85% of all email attachments are harmful. 91% of attacks are launched from a phishing attack. Cybercrime will cost $6 trillion by 2021. 24,000 new malicious apps are removed from the App Store daily. Ransomware is up 180% from 2018. Businesses hit with ransomware every 13.275 seconds. Pretty amazing. So who are the threats? There's a lot of different kinds of hackers out there. One is called hacking collectives. Basically, they're ethical hackers that are going out to attempt to hack into things and make technology better, make it more secure. And they're called white hat hackers. There's the Internet of Things hackers. And they say on here, you think your Alexa is safe. That could be hacked as well. Ransomware developers. Nation state hackers, countries that are out there that don't like the United States, maybe China, Russia, who knows. Organized crime, the mobs are getting into these things. Gangs and mobs are hiring and recruiting intelligent IT people to do malicious acts. Insider threats, people that are inside the companies and hacking within. Script kiddies, people that stumble into something and figure out how to use common software to get the information they need. There are the hacktivists, people that are trying to have a political goal in mind. Malware developers, these are people that actually develop programs and put it out there that you can purchase so you're on your own for as little as $40. And the mobile malware. Do you have an iPhone or an Android? It's not safe. But really the one we're going to talk about a lot today is ransomware. Ransomware is the big one right now. As you can see, 750 plus million in 2019 that people actually paid. There's even a ransomware out there that's testing our morality. Have you heard of this one? This one's called the popcorn virus, the popcorn ransomware. And it's really, really genius. Basically, you don't have to pay the ransom if you send it to 2 of your friends, or you could pay the ransom. But basically, it's just a way to spread this virus through, and you end up getting this. I don't know about you, but if I get this from one of my friends, we're no longer friends anymore. Here's another one. This is a ransomware called Fatboy. And what this one is it looks at where the victim lives and goes off the price of how much a Big Mac costs at McDonald's. And then it judges or decides how much it's going to request for the ransom. And this also was developed in Russia as a ransomware as a service. So basically they put it out on a Russian forum, and then you could buy the Fatboy and you could implement it yourself and send it out to people. So really kind of funny, it's based on the price of the Big Mac. So another one to talk about. Have you heard of the greatest casino heist? I know what you're thinking. It's the Ocean's 11 crew, right? Well, it was actually a casino that got their fish tank hacked. They were able to hack through the internet-based thermometer. And what they did is they got in and stole information of a lot of the high rollers' personal information and was able to get into their accounts. But I know what you're thinking. I already have a great backup solution. And our data is already in the cloud. Anyone recognize this landmark? It's the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Did you hear about the San Francisco Municipal Transit Agency system being hacked? They were asked for $73,000 in a ransom. And what they thought was, we'll just restart from our backup. Their network was down for 2 days. And when this happened to go down, it was the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. So all the Black Friday shoppers out about, people coming and going from the holiday, they were shut down, and they had to basically give free rides, and they couldn't charge for them. They had 735,000 rides a day. That's an average of $1 to $2.25 per rider. The total revenue that they lost, $1.5 to $3.3 million just in that weekend. Ransomware is running rampant. This is really an epidemic that we're all having to deal with. So Datto can provide business continuity. Now you may ask, who is Datto? Datto is the world leading provider of managed IT solutions. Their mission is to empower the world's smallest and medium businesses and the best enterprise level technology. They've been around since 2007, have offices all over the globe, and they're protecting well over many small businesses out there. So let's talk about the reliable data redundancy of Datto. At a high level overview of what Datto business continuity and disaster recovery devices do. They back up your systems to an appliance, whether it be virtual machines, physical servers, or computers. They send the data offsite to a data center on the East Coast, and then it replicates to the West Coast. Just to give you an idea of some of what the devices look like, there are different types of business continuity disaster recovery devices for all sizes and all companies. The Alto on your left is for a small, maybe 1 to 2, 3 server company. The Series 4 that can scale up to large enterprise companies that would need 100 terabytes of stored data. The Series 4 X model comes with a solid state drive to increase performance in a disaster scenario. And there's also virtual and imaged offerings that can leverage your own hardware for the backup target. But that's not all. Datto also includes ransomware detection. So how it works is Datto runs analytics comparing the 2 most recent snapshots to identify ransomware on that footprint. It will notify you via email if there's any changes that indicate suspicious activity. Datto will also indicate the last clear version of, and so you can expedite the restore. Basically, it takes a backup. You can schedule these backups every hour. And if it notices that big change of data within the next backup, it'll alert. And then you're able to go back into the Datto system. You can find the last time where you had good data, and you can restore that good data back to your systems. So stop thinking traditional backup. Start thinking continuity. What's not continuity? Cloud-only backups. Local backups, including tape. and file-based backups. Continuity is hybrid cloud-based backups, sending your backups to a local device and then having that data go off-site. Image-based backups, catch everything that's on that device. Back up the settings, the files, the users, the data, the software, back up everything that's on that device. Have a solution that delivers superior RTO and RPO. And have a solution that's going to eliminate your downtime. And have the functionality of virtualization. This is what eliminates your downtime. If you have the ability to virtualize your system within a matter of seconds, you're not going to lose any time. So continuity, okay. But how does it work? So I mentioned virtualization, and Datto has ability to what they like to call instant virtualization. What that means is if you have your computer and you get infected, or this is your server and you get infected with that ransomware, you were backing up to a Datto device at the time. You can go to that Datto device and look for a clean version of that backup, and you can instantly boot up that computer on the Datto and be able to access it and continue working. So this is if your server goes down, if your file server gets encrypted with ransomware, you can shut down that infected server, go back to a nice good backup, and you can boot it up on that Datto and be back up in a few minutes. Like I said, reduces that downtime, helps you with the RTO and RPO, and you have the ability to boot locally and cloud. If the part that says about cloud, if you had a disaster, let's say you had, like we showed in the beginning, you have a fire, you have a tornado, flood, and you lose your whole building, your data is off-site in Datto's cloud, and we do have the ability to spin that up in Datto's cloud, and you'd be able to access it remotely and have your whole business up and there running. So the thought is to have total data protection. Continuity for all your data. So while we're talking about that, let's talk about SaaS protection, or software as a service. These ones should be pretty familiar to you. These are trusted SaaS protection for these providers. Google Suite, Office 365. So why do you need SaaS protection? Well, 1 in 3 companies lose their SaaS data. 47% of data loss is caused by end user deletion. A disgruntled employee could be deleting info in your cloud without you even knowing it, and you wouldn't be able to get it back. Typically, Microsoft has a default setting of only retaining their backups for 14 days. So, for example, if you had an email in your important folder, important email, and you deleted it inadvertently, and you went, to that 15th day and tried to get it back from Microsoft, they wouldn't have it. So it's important to have an extra backup in there. 20% of data loss is caused by a malicious act. You can still get ransomware in your Office 365 as well, because if you think about it, your OneDrive, your SharePoint, even your email is all data storage. They do have the ability to get into there. As you can see, it is still vulnerable to ransomware. So have you heard of the one called Ransom Cloud? Well, basically, a white hacker friend of KnowBe4's chief hacking officer, Kevin Mitnick, developed a working ransom cloud strain, which increased the cloud email accounts to Office 365 in real time. The strain used a smart phishing email trick to give bad guys the access to their account by saying there was a new Microsoft anti-spam service. Once the employee clicked the link and it allowed the access, it encrypted all their files. You can see the typical ransomware post. Oops, your emails have been encrypted and they want you to pay it through Bitcoin. So if you'd like to watch this video of how this was done, I put the link on the bottom of the slide. I'll give you a little time if you want to write that down. But basically I would just, jot down in a quick note, KnowBe4, new ransomware strain encrypts cloud email. You should be able to find it through Google or any other search engine. So Datto has SaaS protection. they're able to back up that Office 365 data and keep it safe for you. If anything would ever happen, you can easily restore it right back to where it needs to be. You can have multi-administrators in it with your company, and it's able to scale with your enterprise. So the more people you add to the system, you can back up almost unlimited mailboxes. So let's go back to what we were talking about before. Hybrid cloud-based backups, image-based backups. Delivers superior recovery point objectives, RPO, recovery time objectives, RTO, eliminate downtime, and use virtualization. So I mentioned the RPO and RTO, and maybe you're not sure if you've ever heard that before, but basically what it is, recovery point objective describes a period of time in which a business's operations must be restored following a disruptive event, a cyber attack, natural disaster, or communications failure. RTO is recovery time objective. It's the duration of time and service level of which the business process must be restored after disaster in order to avoid unacceptable consequences associated with the break in continuity. One cool tool that we have through Datto is your recovery time and down cost calculator. And it's a really nice tool to kind of give you an idea or perspective of what it would cost for your company to be down. It consists of 10 questions, 6 on your current data storage, and 4 of your state of business. Some examples, how long can your business survive without your IT system? I always, when we go talk to customers about Datto, I always like to say, if I went over and unplugged your servers right now, how long could you be down without them? And everybody's answer varies. As you can see, this one says 72 hours. Some people say we couldn't be down for an hour. And so we plug these numbers in, and it's going to total up everything and give us an idea. But you can see also what we do too is, how long does it take you to initiate your recovery process? Where do you currently store your backups? How much data do you have? And then the part of the business part is where you're going to put in how many employees do you have? What's their average salary? And then what we do is you add all those numbers together, and it can actually calculate out the results. So as you can see, the numbers that were entered in here showed on their current backup system that in the total downtime, they probably lose about $24,000 in that time. And if they were on the Datto, we can get them up and going. And the example here is showing the minimum times that you can back up. So the Datto backups can do as little as every 5 minutes if you really wanted to. So the data changing we would capture it every 5 minutes. And the 6 minutes recovery time is one option that if you had your Datto set up in a certain environment, you boot it up in less than 6 minutes. And you can see the total downtime losses in this scenario for that customer would only be $5,700. So you can see the savings on there. So if you would like the calculator run on your business, you can email me at my address, which I will provide at the end of this webinar. So really this is about staying protected. It's easy to keep your company protected, and here are some tips along with continuity. So to stay protected, you got to think about these things. You are a target online and offline. Don't ever say it won't happen to me. We're all at risk. The stakes are high. It's for your personal and financial well-being. Your company should have policies and procedures that are in your organization to help protect you with some of these different IT instances. You really should have ongoing employee training. Conduct user awareness training twice a year, if not every quarter, and we can help with that. We have a security team here at Camera Corner Connecting Point that they can set up classes. I mentioned that before. We can do training classes online, or you can have one of our guys come out and speak about security and what to look for in your emails. Once again, you can email me that if you're interested when I provide my address at the end. You should have good password policy management, making sure you have complexity, making sure that passwords are changed often. I know it can be a little cumbersome and annoying, but it's for your security. Never leave your devices unattended. So many times I've been to customer sites where the computer's completely unlocked. Anybody can get on there. And I know we usually trust the people we work with, but this isn't leaving you open to opportunity for somebody to compromise. Be careful what you click on. Even though it looks like it might have came from somebody you know, make sure you check it out, look at the links, look at the address, know what you're clicking on, so you're not gonna install some unknown software and compromise the company. Make sure you have good antivirus and malware protection. Only install products from a good, known, trusted source. I would stay away from the free ones. I just don't think they're as robust and secure as the other paid ones are. Backups. The only way to get you totally protected from anything is to be able to go back to before you were protected. So making sure that you have good backups in place is really the key. And mobile devices, making sure that you do have some kind of password or lock on those devices. Making sure that, if you were to leave it out in public or, just misplace it somewhere, that nobody can get into your data. Security testing, work with your managed service provider to set this in place. As I mentioned before, we do these sorts of things. If you are interested in that and a security analysis, once again, you can email me at the end. I'll provide my address. So if you do all this, you are headed in the right direction. So that's it for the webinar. I'd like to thank all of you for attending. And as promised, here is my email address. If you have any questions or want to follow up after or need anything, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eric. Just a reminder again, we'll have the recorded link to you guys in the next 48 hours. I did put the link for the article that Eric had referenced in the chat, as well as Eric's email. So if you wanted to copy and paste either of those items, feel free. Otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much for your time.